I, Sid- I, Siddhanth Govada, Assistant Professor of English, Humanities and Sciences, and the co-convener of this one-week national and virtual FDP on research skills and Sapta Yoga of learning, organized by college, Sreyas Institute of Engineering and Technology. Welcome you all to this third day of a great event program in the process of everlasting learning. I also extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the participants for their support by taking out your time and joining today's session with us, though it's a holiday. It is an honor and great opportunity to have a great and good response from the faculty members and research scholars from more than 100 institutions, which includes national and private universities, colleges, and schools, representing 15 states and 3 union territories. We have participants and guests from Jammu and Kashmir, New Delhi, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Assam, Orissa, Chandigarh, Maharashtra, Puducherry, West Bengal, Haryana, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana. It is also encouraging and inspiring to some of the young teachers like me in this FDP to have a great association and continue our learning from the eminent and experienced guests and speakers, professors in the audience virtually. A very big thanks to all of you for being a great pillar of support to this FDP. My heartfelt thanks to our HOD of HNDS, Muhammad Nasiruddin sir, for extending and guiding us through organizing this event. I love to mention special thanks to our beloved principal sir, Professor Sri Sai Satyanarayana Reddy Garu, who with his experience and vision is trying to strengthen us to have a great academic friend, both for students and the faculty. My sincere thanks to our resource person for the day, Dr. Chumky Biswas, who is with us to present an excellent talk. Dear friends, before ma'am starts this session, I would like to read out her profile. So today we have, like mentioned, today we have Dr. Chumky Biswas. Ma'am is going to address on the topic, the quicksilver nature of online teaching. So here is ma'am's profile. So, Dr. Chumky Biswas, ma'am is an assistant professor in Tadomal Shahani Engineering College, University of Mumbai. She loves teaching any challenging topic related to applied linguistics. Ma'am holds a doctorate degree in the field of English language teaching from the University of Mumbai and is actively involved in extensive research in task-based teaching for listening and speaking skills. Equipped with 20 years of teaching experience, ma'am is often invited as an area expert in various well-acclaimed institutions like Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Department of English, and Department of Distance Education of the Mumbai University. Ma'am has been associated with Oxford University Press for the last 15 years as a SME, subject matter expert, and has conducted over 500 workshops and seminars in the areas like ELT, soft skills, business communication, organizational communication, and behavior, to just name a few. Ma'am also had the great privilege of being selected as a key member of the Mumbai University's Board of Studies, and she helped to redesign the syllabus for 2 subjects on professional communication and ethics for engineering students. Ma'am is also associated with international organizations like Prometric USA, Sprott School of Business Canada, and Oxford University Press United Kingdom in the capacity of a subject matter expert. So it is my great delight and honor to have Madam for this today's session. Ma'am, the session is all yours.
Thank you so much. Okay. Good morning to all the participants. Thank you, Siddharth sir. That was such a wonderful introduction that you've given me. And I need to thank Dr. Srinivaslu for first of all inviting me, and the entire management of Sreyas Institute for inviting me for the 6-day FDP. Okay, now before we start, because we are on Teams and all the members are on the same platform with me, I have one or two requests. First is, please do not type any message in the chat box. It keeps popping up on the screen. So when I share my slides, it will come in the recording. That's the first request. And the second request is that please make sure that you are on mute. At times, by mistake, we go on unmute, but quickly just redress that matter. Okay. Also, I would like all the video tiles to be switched off, okay, because I would like to move into my slides. I'm switching off my video first, and I request everyone else to do the same. Thank you. Okay, before I start, I need a confirmation whether my screen is visible. The weather is really bad in Bombay and my connectivity is not very good. So at any moment, if you feel you're not able to see what is on the screen, please interrupt me and tell me that there's something wrong. From my end, I will not understand. So is my screen visible? Can I get a verbal confirmation?
It's good, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the way I have named my webinar today is the quicksilver nature of online teaching. And the word quicksilver actually refers to mercury. And we know that mercury. Yes, any moment that somebody's microphone is on, I'll stop speaking. That should be an indication for you to check your microphones. Can I go ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay. So the word quicksilver, as I was mentioning, it refers to mercury, which we know is a liquid metal. Now, a metal in our knowledge is mostly solid, but because mercury is liquid in nature, it keeps on changing its shape depending on the temperature outside. The density keeps changing. So I have compared online teaching to the quicksilver nature, which means that online teaching is constantly changing and it's evolving and it's upgrading. You know, initially, those of you who started using Zoom, there were a lot of features which were not there in the beginning, but Zoom right now has almost all the features that we require for any kind of online presentation. So when we're talking about online teaching, we have all pretty much understood that if we do not adapt to the current changes that are happening, what is going to happen is either we're going to sink or we are going to swim. Now the choice is ours whether we want to survive in this challenging situation or whether we want to perish. But the thing is that for those of you who know swimming, are adaptable, and can quickly learn things, for you, your problem is pretty much solved. You know that you can keep your head above water and you can still keep breathing. But for people who do not know swimming, it is never too late to first of all learn swimming. And if at all you cannot learn swimming, you can always wear a breathing apparatus and still go down like a deep sea diver. So let us, take a pledge that we will swim, we will survive, and we will overcome all the challenges that are going to come our way. Okay, so the first question you're going to be asking is why this dire warning, on a nice holiday early morning. Okay, it is because education now is a different ball game altogether. COVID has forced us out of the classroom. Initially, we were thinking that it's a matter of 2 or 3 months, But now we understand that this is one of the most permanent situations, and this is going to stay for a lot longer than we were hoping. Next is that, as I said, only the fittest of us will survive. And when I say fittest, I mean people who are engaging teachers. Education nowadays has become a consumer product. So, students will stop coming to your lectures or attending your lectures if we are not able to engage them. You might still retain your job, you might still get your salary, but at the end of the day, whatever you're teaching, there'll be no buyers or there'll be no takers. And this is more or less what I mean, that the fittest of us will survive. And the third point is that if we don't upgrade ourselves, we will be replaced. Okay, now many teachers, most of us are worried about the fact that search engines like Google and YouTube will replace teachers. But I have some good news. The good news is that computers will not replace teachers. Teachers are required, but definitely computer literate teachers will replace computer illiterate teachers. So one of the biggest challenges in front of us right now is to get tech savvy with certain things. Okay, so the solution to this isn't a mad rush to learn new software. A few days back, I was attending FDP, and there was this fantastic speaker who had come, and he was talking about a gamut, a myriad, collection of software that we can use in the classroom. But at the end of the day, I realized that he has spoken about 30, 40 different software. And if I'm trying to learn everything, I'll end up being confused and exhausted. Because there are many software, but most of the software belong to certain categories. So the idea is that we need to have proficiency in a few software, and that will be sufficient to combat this problem. So when I'm talking about a few software, I'm talking after I have categorized the software. Okay.
It's okay, ma'am. Continue. Continue.
I'm sorry, with noise in the background, I will not speak. So anytime I keep quiet, please make sure the technical team puts everybody else on mute in case they aren't doing it themselves. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so now when I'm talking about software, we need to understand the different categories that most software can be clubbed under. For example, mm, we have a lot of okay. So, for example, we have a lot of polling software. We have something like Mentimeter, we have Poll Daddy, we have Google Forms. All of these are ultimately doing the same job, and some softwares are user friendly, some are not so user friendly, some are expensive, and some are free. So, when we are choosing to learn some software, the first consideration for Indians should be that the software should be free in nature. I'm attending a lot of webinars, I'm listening to a lot of speakers, and out of 10 software they mention, 9 of them are paid. Now, not everybody in India is lucky enough to pay from their pockets to purchase a lot of different software until the college, the school, or the institution they are in is providing the money. So, as I said, the first consideration should be to see whether the software we're going to learn is free or not. Okay, so I have categorized the software that we need to know in 6 different categories. The first thing is the streaming platform. Right now, today, you and me, we wouldn't be here online if we were not using a streaming platform. And in this case, we are using the Teams. Now, the streaming platform, most of them are paid. For example, Teams is paid. The institution generally buys a license. Zoom is a paid affair, though it is okay for two people to use Zoom for 45 minutes, 1 hour. That is free. But if you want to actually have a good interaction with a number of participants, then even Zoom costs money. Google Meet, however, comes free of cost. So, if no other platform works for you, Google Meet is always there. Next is when we are on a streaming platform, it is not enough to engage the audience just by talking. You will soon lose the attention of the audience. So we need to know some presentation software. I think most people are comfortable at least using basic slides of a PPT. Then we have something like Google Slides presentations. We have something like Keynotes, which is another software that I'm using. Now, PPT would be free of cost for you if you have the Windows Office application. So select any software you're comfortable with. And the thing is that if you know how to manipulate one presentation software, the know-how that you acquire can be applied to most presentation software. This is one thing, but I have realized that in the last 1.5 year, presentation software is a little restrictive in the sense that there's not a lot of motion or fluidity in presentation software, so it is a little static. So when you're dealing with younger students, a very static presentation might not help a lot. And sometimes we need to explain a topic maybe in 2 or 3 minutes. So I have started looking at whiteboard presentation, animation software, which allows you to make videos of 2 or 3 minutes in a very easy manner. And because it is animated, what you're putting up looks like a movie. It almost looks like a cartoon animation show. So there are a lot of whiteboard animation software, but my personal favorite is Render Forest. You can please make a note of it. Render, 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 Forest. Now, this is one of the most attractive whiteboard animations that I've seen. Most of the features come free, however, some packages are paid for. But even if you don't avail for the paid for services, the free ones are pretty good for beginners, at least for you to get a feel of how whiteboard animation videos are made. Okay, next thing is you need audio visual recording software, which comes inbuilt with most of your laptop devices. Even your mobile phone has a audio or video recording software. Now, once you suppose you want to record a session for the student, a little bit of instructions for the students so that they can do their homework in the night, you can just record yourself and post the recording. Now, sometimes the recording might have, blank timings in the beginning, where nothing is spoken, and at the end, some amount of a blank space. In that case, you need a video editing software. Again, most laptops come equipped with a video editing software. Other than that, also, there are a lot of free video editing software that you can use. And the good part is, if you have a video editing software, at least if you know how to trim, from the beginning and from the end of a video, you can also, edit the sound, not just the, video image. You can edit the sound. So a video editor works both for images, for videos, and also for soundtracks. Now, once you have these four, then we need to have a learning management system. Now, many colleges and schools, they purchase specific management LMS management systems. They come at a cost, but at yourself, if you want something for free, Google Classroom is the best service that I have seen so far. And in case you don't have any learning management system, you can still use your Google Drive to upload all your assignments, to upload your videos, to ask your students to upload their assignments. You can keep a record of the attendance. So Google Drive can suffice for those of you who do not have access to any LMS. And the last one is a software that will allow you to make quizzes, different assignments, whether it's an objective assignment or it's a subjective assignment. Now, I have run through a whole lot of software, And I have realized at the end of the day that there is nothing like Google Form. Google Form allows you to do almost every kind of assignment that you have in your mind. So, there might be a lot of software, they look very attractive, but when you try to use it, they have their own drawbacks. So, these six that I'm talking about, I'm talking about from my own personal experience, and these six are sufficient for me to do my day-to-day teaching. Not only that, it's sufficient for me to do my webinars too. Okay, now you will feel very happy about the fact that, okay, you know most of this software. So what is it that I'm going to talk about in the remaining part of the webinar? So I'm talking about learning and using a software, it is merely the tip of the iceberg of the problem that we have in front of us. That is how to engage the student online. So when I'm talking about merely the tip of the iceberg, I want to share this image where an iceberg, when it floats, only 10% of it is visible to the naked eyes, and the remaining 90% is submerged under the water. So, when I'm talking about the success of what people see at the end of the day, that 10% is your projection. Whatever you have prepared, you're projecting it onto an audience. The audience can be your students, or the audience can be a mixed group like you today. Now, this is only 10%, but what we need to worry about more is not this 10%. What we need to worry about more is the 90%, which is the preparation that goes into the projection. Okay, thank you. So, you might be using the latest software. You might have a lot of money in your pocket. You can buy good software. You can, present your content online using different software. But the problem remains that if your product is not interesting, if the content you're presenting is not interesting, no matter what kind of software you use, students are not going to benefit from it. And if they don't benefit from it, they are not going to be interested in what you are showing. So today, for the remaining part of the seminar, I'm going to be talking about the preparation of how to create or how to modify our content so that they are interesting when we project them. Okay, so let me talk about how to make our content, a unified whole. So I have thought of some words. All of them start with the I letter. So what you're teaching has to be, in a way, interdisciplinary. You might be teaching English, but that should not stop you maybe from taking a passage from biology and teaching it in English. It is interdisciplinary. It is integrative, means you have to allow all the different kind of faculty techniques. You have to address the different kind of intelligence students have. All of these have to be integrated in your teaching. It should be interactive, innovative. Every day, if you go to class with the same trick in your bag or under your sleeve, students will soon lose interest. So every day when students come for your lectures, they must look forward to what new thing ma'am or sir will get for us today. And that is what I mean by innovative. It should be intercultural. Maybe the sessions that you are recording will not only be watched by students in your state, it might be watched by students from the entire country, and for that world, the entire world. So your content has to be intercultural in nature. It has to, perpetuate some kind of respect in us for all cultures. Next is, what you're teaching should have a tinge of inspiration for students to become better human beings. They can take small tips from you, maybe about the fact that how hardworking you are towards the student, and that gets automatically imbibed in the student. So your teaching content should also be inspirational nature. It goes without saying that you should hold the interest of the audience, and it should be imaginative. it should be very creative in its nature. Now, when Dr. Srinivaslu, he was looking for a title for the FDP, he was in fact having a word with me, and we were discussing different topics, and then he came up with this Sapta Yoga concept. And this is so interesting to me, at least, because none of the other FDPs that I've seen has used any concept like this. So I'm going to do justice to his choice of topic, and when you bring all of these together, you weave it in, what you get is oneness and balance. And I was checking up the meaning of yoga online, and it told me that yoga is all about bringing the spirit, the soul, the mind, and the body all together in one unified whole. So that is what we are trying to do, that when we prepare our lessons, when we prepare our activities, all of these things should come together into one unified, balanced composition. Okay, so what's new for us today? What is it that I'm going to cover today? I'm going to be talking about the 4 types of learners that are there. Mostly we prepare our content without doing a analysis of what kind of learners are there in the classroom. We prepare our content according to our ease, according to our convenience. So let us see. First one is a visual learner. A visual learner is someone who can look at something and learn better. If I show you an image of how the Globe Theatre looks like, where is the entrance, where do people sit, where is the stage, and where is the dress circle, maybe that person will remember the concept of the Globe Theatre much better than if you explain in words. So somebody who is a visual learner tries to visualize everything that he or she is hearing or reading. So, for example, this child is trying to understand what is a table, and if the teacher is able to show the image of a table, the child will never forget the association of this 4-legged contraption as a table. The next one is the oral learners. Now, the oral learners are the ones who can listen to and pretty much understand what is said. So, a few years back, I came across this concept of audiobooks, where somebody is reading out a story for you, and I can just close my eyes and listen. Or while cooking, I keep the audiobook on and I'm listening. And then I realized that when I'm listening to a story read out by someone, most of the time I'm not able to keep up with the storyline, and I have to keep going back to repeat what is being said. So I realized for myself that I am not an oral learner. I'm also going to give you another example. There are many presenters who come for presentations and webinars. These people are mostly of the older generation, and they are not very comfortable making slides. So the entire webinar consists of talks, verbal talk. So when I attend this kind of a webinar, most of the time the speakers are very knowledgeable, but they are not able to hold my interest because there is no visual content on the screen. I'm just listening, and at one point of time I lose track of what is being said. But some people are good oral learners. The next one is the read and write learner. Now, these are the kind of people who learn better either when they are reading or when they are writing. So, for example, some of us, before we go to the market to shop for groceries or whatever, some of us, we prepare a written list. Now, the kind of person who actually makes the effort to sit down and prepare a written list, where a hard copy of a list or it's a list on your mobile phone, it's fine, but you're making the effort to write. If you're making the effort to write, it's an indication for you that you are actually a person who can think more logically and better when you write down things or when you read things. So this is a read and write learner. Another way to check whether you're a read and write learner is to go back to your school days. Some of us would learn the answers that we have to write in the exam. We learn it by heart. We memorize it. But some I have seen some of my friends would actually write down the answers maybe 1 or 2 times. and they feel more confident about their knowledge when they write down their answers. So these are the read and write learners. Also, you will see, though it's a dying art, some of us still manage to write a diary every night or every day. Now, people who keep a diary, okay, these again are read and write learners. And the last one, I'm sure you've guessed, is the kinesthetic learner, somebody who learns by doing it. Okay, so for example, my sister and I, we have stayed away from our parents right from a very young age. We were put in hostels. So anytime my sister wants to, cook a traditional dish, she will just, call at my mom, and my mom will tell her on the call what all to add and in what sequence. And because she's a good oral learner, she's able to get the instructions and she's able to cook something that tastes very similar to what my mom makes. But if I listen to instructions on the phone, I am not able to do it. So what my mom generally does is she puts on a video call. She cooks the thing, and on my end, I prepare the same things and I cook along with her, and that is when I can come up with a dish that tastes something similar to her. So we all of us have different kind of learning styles, and when you're delivering your content, the content should not address only oral or visual learners. The content should address all the four kind of learners. Okay, now these four kind of learners are known as the VARK, V for visual, A for oral, R for read and write, and K for kinesthetic. So the word is VARK, okay, VARK style of learners. Now I will talk about what is the way out. How can we, solve the issue where whatever content we are delivering can encompass all the four kinds of learners. First is that all activities that you do online should address the need of the work learners. This I've already said. Next is the activities that you're teaching should focus on enhancing English proficiency. Now, I'm talking about English because I'm an English teacher, but you might be teaching the subject of, say, geography. In that case, the activities that you prepare online should be towards enhancing the knowledge of geography. So just substitute English with whichever subject you are teaching. Next is, whatever activity you do online should be in the form of a test, in the sense that there has to be an evaluation factor in every activity, so that at the end of the activity, the students are able to judge for themselves how much they have scored in the activity, and the score also is an indication to the teacher how much the student has understood. So all activities need to have a scoring system. It is not just enough to give people activities, but it should measure your proficiency also. Next is, all these activities must also be adaptive to online delivery. Initially, as I said, we were expecting this will go on for 3 or 4 months, but it's been a 1.5 year and we're still teaching online. And trust me, the future is blended learning, which means whatever can be delivered online will be delivered online, but any subject, any topic that needs hands-on experience will be done in the real-time mode. So what we are looking ahead in the future is a blended mode of learning, which will be a combination of online plus face-to-face teaching. So it is a good idea to make sure that all the content that you're developing henceforth from maybe this month onwards should be deliverable online. Next is, it should hold the interest of the learners. I don't need to stress upon this point. We all know how much of a struggle it is to keep the students interested in what we are saying. And the third thing is that the time to deliver this task should not be very extended. Each activity that you're doing should not go beyond 5 to 6 minutes. That is the attention span of an average student. If you go beyond that, you'd have lost the attention of the audience. So, when I see a webinar and it tells me I have to speak for 2 hours, I get very anxious because I know that no matter what I do, I cannot keep my audience engaged or entertained for 2 hours. So gently, my talks are a lot shorter because I simply refuse to do something for the sake of doing it. So now that we know, what we have to do in the classroom, uh, I'm going to tell you what is my game plan today. What am I planning to do today for you? First of all, I'm going to do 4 interactive activities, and each of these 4 activities will address a different kind of learner. So there are 4 kinds of learner, and hence I've chosen 4 activities. And I said these are interactive activities, so which means that you're going to do these activities in the here and now, in the real time. So in the next 1 hour, we're going to do 4 activities. And once you do these activities, you will be able to judge for yourself whether these activities were effective in teaching something. I will show the purpose of each activity. So you will be in a position to judge whether it was effective or not. Next is, you will be in a position to judge whether it was easy for me to deliver these activities and whether it was easy for you to complete these activities. If it is too complicated, the instructions are complicated, what you have to do requires a lot of headache, then there is no ease of delivery either from my end or from the receiver's end. And the last thing that I want you to judge is, how much time will I take or did I take in creating these activities? And if you're trying to replicate similar activities in your classroom, how much effort will it take on your behalf? Will it be easy for you to create the content, or it will take you a lot of time? So these are the 4 things that I'm promising with my activities today. Now, as I said, the content that we have to deliver has to be modified to be delivered online. Now, there is a very good test, just like you have an IQ test, which tells you how intelligent you are. Similarly, there is a test that measures your VARC quotient, and it tells you whether you're a visual learner, you're an oral learner, read and write, or kinesthetic learner. Now, the test that I have is not deliverable online because it is in the PDF format where I generally take printouts and give it to my audience. But in today's case, I'm not able to do that. But what I'm going to do is another activity just to show you how you can actually measure in real time what kind of learning propensity you have, what kind of a learner you are. So towards that, let us have some fun. Here are a few pictures on the screen. I am giving you about a minute to have a look at these pictures. So I'm just starting my countdown. Please have a look at these pictures. Okay, there goes your 1 minute. Now I'll remove the pictures from the screen. You will not be able to see them anymore. Now the activity that you have to do is just try and recollect from your visual memory what are the things you saw on the screen, and please make a list of it. Okay. After a minute or two, I'm going to display the answers. So depending on how many correct answers you have, you will be able to judge for yourself what kind of a visual memory you had. If you're a visual learner, the image will, more or less imprint itself onto your memory, and you will have mostly a photographic memory where you can remember in which corner and in what color something was there. So those of you who have a notebook in front of you, very good. Those of you who do not have it, please go and grab a notebook, because we're going to need the notebook for the remaining 3 activities also. So your time starts now. Please go ahead, recollect whatever you've seen on the screen. First is to write down how many items you saw on the screen, the number, and then is to list down those items. Your time starts now. One of my friend who is a participant just messaged that my audio is not very clear. Is it a problem from my side? Is this problem with everyone? Am I not audible?
You're audible, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that is sufficient time for you to recollect and note down whatever you can remember from what you've seen on the screen. Is there anyone who needs more time? Please unmute yourself and tell me so, or else I will go ahead with the answers. Okay, since no response has come in, I'm assuming that you people were able to complete this activity. So here is the answer key. The total number of items that I have shown on the screen were 22. Now, you might be able to note down, say, 20 of them, but you might have noted down maybe some articles which were not there, but you imagined that they were there. So let me just show you the list of the items that were there. And now, how do you check for yourself how well you have done? It is simply to calculate the correct number of responses out of 22. And on the basis of that, you can make a simple note to yourself how good you are as a visual learner. If you are indeed a visual learner, you will score very well. But if you are not a visual learner, then your score will not be up to the mark. Okay, I think I will move ahead. Now, this was just a fun activity to show to us how it is pretty much possible in simple ways to judge for yourself what kind of a learner you are. So right now, I'm moving on to the first activity, and the first activity I have created keeping in mind the visual learners. So here is the activity brief. What are the materials you will require is a passage which I will provide from my end. From your end, you will need a notebook and a pen. The purpose is to encourage graphic summarization skills and note taking. So, what is the activity? I will show you a passage. I would want you to convert the passage into some sort of a graphic organizer and draw it in your notebook. And when you're drawing it, you're also essentially taking down notes on the basis of the passage. So let me give you a few examples of what I mean by a graphic organizer. Now, in terms of a graphic organizer, you have quite a few of them, but these are the most common ones, and these are sufficient. These 8 are sufficient for you to convert any kind of information into a graphic organizer. Okay, so the first one is a Venn diagram. When you're comparing two things and you're talking about the similarities and differences, then you use a Venn diagram. You have a flow chart, which is used when you're talking about the steps that are carried out in a particular process. So it has a sequence, it has a discrete starting, and it has a discrete ending. A tree diagram is where you're branching out and you're subdividing into further or finer divisions. You are classifying it into different layers and tiers. This is a tree diagram. Then you have a timeline, something that comes in a chronology, and it talks about events that took place at different times in the past. Next is we have a cyclic chart, which talks about a process or something that starts at a certain point, completes a loop and comes back to square one, and it keeps repeating. So these are cyclic charts. Then you have a matrix when you're comparing more than two things. When you're comparing two things, a Venn diagram is good enough. But if you're comparing more than two, even three things can be compared in a Venn diagram where you have three circles, but it becomes a little complicated. So in that case, you shift to a matrix where you write down the things that you have to compare and the different categories on the basis of which you're comparing. So what you use is a matrix, then you have a radial diagram, a central point, and from that point, branching points that arise, and you can also again categorize it like a tree diagram. Now, difference between a tree diagram and radial diagram is a tree diagram proceeds mostly in a single direction, top to down, bottom up, left to right, or right to left, but a radial diagram can proceed in any direction, 360-degree angles. This is basically the main differentiation. And then we have a pyramid where we're talking about, something reaching up to a pinnacle or a climax, and it also has layers or tiers in it. And the most important is at the top, the not so important maybe is at the bottom. So you can use any of these graphic organizers. So what you have to do is, in the next slide, I'm going to show you a passage, and I'm going to give you 5 minutes of reading time, and after reading you have to convert the passage into some sort of a graphic organizer. Now you're free to choose any graphic organizer which you think will do justice to the passage. Depending on the content of the passage, you will have to select any particular one. So here is your passage. I want you to read it, and your time starts now. I'm going to be very strict about the timing because in your lectures also you need to keep to some kind of timing. So your 5 minutes starts now. Read the passage and convert it into some sort of a drawing or an image with the information in it.
Hello, dear participants, please. Just you can read it. Any one of you, please, can you read?
It's fine. It's a silent activity so that they can read it on their own, and they can simply convert it into a diagram in their own notebooks. After that, I'll tell what is to be done. So for now, you can read it silently. Nobody need to read it out loudly. After that, please convert it, and then we'll go ahead with other things. 4 minutes are over. You have another minute left to complete your graphic organizer. Okay, that's the end of 5 minutes. Is there anyone who requires more time? Please put yourself on unmute and request me. Okay, since no requests are coming through, again, I'm assuming that the 5 minutes was sufficient for you to read the passage and draw some sort of an organizer. So I'll move on to the next page. And in this page, what I've done is I've converted the same passage into a flowchart, okay, a tree diagram of mine. And you will notice that I have left blanks in certain places. So there are total 8 blanks. Your task is very simple. From the notes that you've taken down in your own graphic organizer, please try and write the answers. So you need not draw this organizer again. In your notebook, just make a list of 1 to 8, and against each number, you just note down the answer on the basis of what you read, what you remember, and the notes that you have taken down. I'm going to be on the screen for 3 minutes, and after that, I will display the answers. And you can check for yourselves out of 8 how many you're getting correct. That should be your indication for you of how well you've been able to convert into a graphic organizer, how well you've been able to take down notes and answer these blanks. So your time starts now. Okay, 2 minutes are over. You have 1 more minute to complete this.
Good morning, madam.
Yes, good morning.
Your activities are excellent, but I think responses from the audience are not reaching you. So, how to know whether we are good at it or we are bad at it?
Because I'll be showing you the answers and you have to
Because,
cross-check for yourself how many you're getting correct.
and even after that, how to know whether, for example, you go wrong, where we stand, what is our position, something like that. So,
I
if we
will
have a kind of chance to interact, at least for a couple of minutes in between the activity, that would be, I think, very effective.
I will
Will be
do that.
benefited.
I will stop sharing my screen, and once I show my answers, then I will come off the slides and you'll be able to put on your video camera and talk to us. I'll do that.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ma'am, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Very nice session, ma'am. Just doing whatever you are telling. I'm just writing, note it down.
Yes,
Nice, good activity.
thank you.
Yeah,
I'll be very happy if you can give me your feedback at the end of the session. So
yeah.
right now we are done with the 3 minutes. And now, if you have finished writing down your answers to all the 8 blanks, can I go ahead and show the answer key? Is it okay, or do you need more time? Please be more
Yes, ma'am,
comfortable.
you can go ahead.
I can go ahead. Okay.
Yes.
So here is the answer. And yeah, and when I see people trying to summarize this passage, most of my students are very hasty in coming to a conclusion. So they start talking about the banana instead of the banana tree. And this is the first mistake, because the passage is not just about the banana, it is about the banana tree and the different things that the banana tree yields, out of which one is the fruits, then it gives us fiber, and the leaves of the banana tree are also useful. So when we are talking about the fruits, the passage says that the fruits are eaten by birds and animals, but the passage does not take it any further about birds or animals. So this branch ends here, but it talks about how fruits are consumed by humans in two ways. One is as food or eatables, okay, and under eatables you have chips, jam, toffee, juice, and milkshake. I'd given all the other answers, but I think answer 4 I had kept it a blank. Also, humans use bananas as for its medicinal value. So you have vitamins, minerals, and it is also used as a salve or an ointment to stop the itching from mosquito bites. In terms of fiber from the banana tree, it's made into bags, carpets, ropes, and I think the answer that I was looking for is paper. And then the banana leaves, which are really big and broad, they are used as wrappers to steam food in it, and they're also used as plates, mostly in the south of India. So this is your answer. I will stop sharing my slide and I will allow the participants to interact. Yes, is there anyone who would like to share anything?
Ma'am, all my
Yes.
8 went correct.
Okay, awesome. So if you are getting an
Okay.
8 out of 8, that means you
Yes.
have been able to not only convert the passage into a very good visual organizer, you were successful in taking notes, and you were able to use those notes to successfully answer questions. And this is a procedure which is useful for students in the classroom. whatever the teacher is saying, instead of writing down complete sentences, they can take it down in the form of a diagram, a drawing, and later at home from these drawings, whatever they have written down, they can answer the questions which are given after every lesson. Okay, so I think you have done it very well. Is there anybody else who would like to share something?
Yeah, good morning, madam. I was the one who spoke to you just a while ago.
Okay, thank you, sir.
That's what all my answers were right. So I was just trying to reach you so that I can share the happiness of completing the task. That's it, ma'am. Thank you.
Excellent
Okay.
activity, ma'am.
Is there anyone who is keen on showing us your graphic organizer? For example, you can just switch on your video and hold up your notebook so that people can see what you've drawn.
But
Is there
it is,
anybody?
yeah, just a kind of scribbling.
That's
I
fine.
think I used instead of a tree diagram, a radial diagram. I used radial diagram, but just keeping banana tree in between or in the circle.
Absolutely. You can use either a tree diagram or a radial diagram. Both are suitable for this. So if you're willing, we'll be most happy to see what you see. You don't have to be, Da Vinci and draw it very beautifully. It should be sufficient
Yes.
for your purpose. That is all I have
Yeah,
to
in
say.
fact, I have that of writing or noting down all important points. Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready to show,
Okay,
but yeah,
just show us. We will be most happy to see.
yeah. I think the lighting is dim. This is the one I just one second, one second. This is a
Siddhanth, sir, can you spotlight him?
Yes,
Pin
yes,
him.
ma'am.
Just pin
yeah.
him.
This is the one.
Let me pin you, sir.
In fact, I started writing from the beginning. This is all I have written. Now this is the one that I am showing right now. The activity that you gave us.
Sir, is
Yeah.
it okay if you could turn your video on, Srinivas sir?
Yes, video is on, sir. Okay, one second. Yes.
Okay, yes. Very good. You have in fact used a radial diagram as you said, and you've taken down the small notes next to it, so it's done very well. This is fantastic. We are not interested in how beautifully it's created, but definitely in how effectively it is created. Thank you so much, sir. Is there a second person who would like to show their graphic organizer to us? We'll be most happy to have it. Anybody else? Okay. If not, then I will go back to sharing my slide and I'll move on to activity 2 because we still have to do 3 activities and I also have to keep in mind that the time is limited for us. Yes, so I'll just go ahead back to my slides.
Okay, madam. Thank you. Thank you, Siddhanth, sir.
Where were we? Okay. Yes. So the next activity that I have planned is for oral learners, learners who are able to listen in the absence of anything else, either pictures, images, videos, anything, and they are able to understand what is being said. So they have a very strong grasp of the language, they understand words, they can associate the meaning of words very easily. So the activity brief says that in material, I'll be showing you a flight schedule display chart. So whenever you travel by air, you will see that there are big LCD display boards all around the airport talking about the different flights, their numbers, when they are taking off, where they are going, and what time they will arrive, expected time of arrival. So this is your, flight schedule display chart. This is something that I'll show you on the screen. At your end, you will need the notebook and the pen, which all you already have. The purpose is to encourage listening to details. So I'll be talking about very specific things like flight numbers. I'll be talking about very specific timings, specific places and destinations. So if you're listening to just general information, you will do poorly in this activity. But if you pay attention to specific details, then you're going to do very well. And the activity is that I'm going to be making some announcements. And on the basis of my announcements, you will mark some answers in the activity that I'll explain how to do. Okay, so the first thing is I'm just getting you acquainted with the flight information board. This is very important. Here on the left side you have the flight numbers, so you should be able to recognize these numbers, not remember. These are the destination, that means the final landing place of the flight. Now some of the flights stop in between at a certain place and then move on to the final destination, because these are long haul flights. Okay, so the via means the stopover. So here is the list of all the places. For example, flight 702, it goes to London, but it first stops at Istanbul, and then after refueling it reaches London. So the departure time from London is 11:10, and the arrival time, the departure is 11:10 and the arrival time in London is 21:10, which means it is night time at 9:10 in the night. Now, at the bottom, there is a list of abbreviations. I want you to pay attention to the abbreviations, because this is what you're going to be using for the activity that I have in mind for you. So when a capital D is marked, it stands for the destination. So maybe Toronto or Paris, this is your destination. VIA, the short form of it, I've kept it as capital V. V stands for via. So you will have to talk about maybe the place where the plane is stopping over. Departure, I've kept it as DP, because only D has been taken up for destination, so I could not name it as D only. I've kept it as DP, as departure. And arrival, I have kept it as A. So please remember these four things. Also, when you're answering, this particular slide will be in front of your eyes. So anytime you feel any confusion about the abbreviations, you can always refer to this list. Now, what do you need to do? First of all, in your notebook, I want you to draw 3 columns. I want you to draw 3 columns. The first column will be for you to number. Now, these number will correspond to the announcements that I'm going to make, which means that I'm going to make 10 announcements. And hence, you should have 10 serial numbers in the first column. The second column, you're going to write for the first 5 a capital D, which talks about the departure. And for the remaining 5 at the bottom, from 6 to 10, you're going to mark them as DP, DP, departure. And in the third column, for the first 5, you're going to mark V, which stands for the via, stopover. And the remaining 5, you will mark it as A, talking about the arrival time. Okay, so please finish drawing this columns, the 3 of them. This is a matrix, so it's a 3 by 10 matrix. Please complete doing it, and then I'll explain what you have to do. So I'm giving you about a minute to copy this particular table verbatim as it is on the screen onto your notebooks. Okay. Now while you note it down, I'm going to go ahead and explain what is the activity. So, for the first 5 announcements that I make, I'm giving you an example of how the announcements will sound like. I can say something like flight 915 goes via Frankfurt. So, in this sentence, you will notice that I have used the word via. That means flight 915, before it reaches its final destination, it stops over at Frankfurt. And you know it because of the use of the word via. So out of D and V, you're going to select V, which stands for via. So this sentence talks about the stopover place. So it gets a tick mark on the V. For the remaining 5 at the bottom, this one talks about the departure and the arrival. So I can make an announcement like flight 915 takes off at 23:15. So when I use the word takes off, which means I am talking about the departure timing. So you will go ahead and tick departure or circle departure. Is that clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So what I'll do is I will show you the flight information board, and I will retrieve my instructions. So I will say announcement number 1. So out of the 10 that you've written, you're going to put in your answers against 1, and I will make an announcement, listen to the announcement, cross-check with the flight information board, and then tick your answer. However, I will be making the announcements only one time. Okay, I'm assuming you people are ready, so I'll start with announcement 1. Flight 915 goes to Toronto. Announcement number 2. Flight 70. I'm repeating, flight 702 stops in Istanbul.
Dear participants, your audios are enabled. Please participate, I request. Thank you.
No, I think it is to write down. The task is to note down, right? Not to speak right now.
Right, you're right. Please mark your answers. So no need to speak. We can discuss at the end.
Yes.
Announcement 3. Flight 214 arrives in New York at 10:05. Announcement number 4. Flight 809 stops in Bangkok. Announcement number 5. Flight 763 goes to Dubai. Announcement number 6. Before I go ahead, can I have some discipline from the audience? Can you please put yourself on mute? Thank you very much. Announcement number 6. Flight 702 takes off at 10 past 11. Please note that from the 6th announcement onwards, the task is slightly different where I'll be talking about the departure and arrival. So please make a note of that. Announcement number 7. Flight 915 leaves at 11:15 in the night. Flight 809, announcement number 8, announcement number 8, flight 809 reaches Singapore at 7:45. Announcement number 9, flight 702 lands in London at 10 past 9 in the night. The last announcement, number 10, flight 763 arrives in Paris at 10:15 in the night. Okay, so with that, I come to the announcements. Because this is an activity mostly for oral learners, you will see people who are able to pay attention and listen for specific details will do very well. And here are your answers. You can cross-check for each announcement that I made and the answer which is correct against each one of them. You can cross-check, and if you want, you can unmute yourself and share your score with us.
Madam, this is the score.
I'm not able
All
to
are
see.
right.
All right.
All are
Okay.
right. All are
Fantastic.
right.
Very good.
All the 10 are right.
That's good. Very good.
All the 10 are right, ma'am.
All the
Very
10 are
good.
right.
I wonder if the others are doing these activities because I took a lot of pain to make these activities. So I'll be very happy if you participate and share anything.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Actually, in the second announcement where you said it stops at Istanbul,
Istanbul, yeah.
yes, it was mentioned in the chart that it is via. So I wrote V there. Sorry, I wrote the destination there.
No, stops.
like that.
Stops
that is
means
how
it.
right.
You have to use the information board also, because the
Okay.
information board shows that it goes via Istanbul. So if I say flight 702 stops in Istanbul, the stop might be an interim stop. Okay, a refueling stop, not maybe the final stop. So you have to look at the information board plus listen to me, combine both and then write your answers.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So if you have taken down the answers, see the 2 activities or the 3 activities we have done so far, you can pretty much gauge for yourself how well you are doing. And on the basis of your scores, you can tell yourself what kind of learner you are. And sometimes we are a combination of all four. It's not like that because I'm a visual learner, I cannot listen and understand. I can listen and understand maybe, but not as well as I can when I see and understand. So all of us have all the four faculties, but they can be a predominant way of learning amongst students, just like it is amongst us. Okay, so I'll move to activity 3. Now, activity 3 is for the read and write learners, the people who like to make down notes, lists and things like that. So the activity brief is the materials that I'll be using is a short passage. So the passage comes from my end. At your end, you have the notebook and pen. What is the purpose? To encourage critical reading skills. Now, what do I mean by critical? Where you're able to pass a judgment on the value of the statements or sentences that you're reading. You're able to pass a critical judgment. So, what is the activity? The activity is that I will show you a passage and you will have to distinguish the sentences from the passage and categorize them either as facts or as opinions. Now, before we go to the activity, let me just give you a distinction of what is opinion and what is fact. Most of us know, but I have prepared these activities as a sample that you will use for students. So hence I'm explaining even very simple concepts. So here is a sentence which says, it is very hot. Now this is an opinion statement because how hot is hot for you? Somebody who stays in Alaska, for them the concept of heat is very different from somebody who stays maybe in the Sahara Desert, right? So, hot merely doesn't quantify what exactly the person means. So, these statements are subjective, means it will vary from person to person and it is not verifiable because there is no way of measuring what you are thinking in your head. But at the same time, instead of saying it's very hot today, if I say it's 45 degrees Celsius today, now 45 degrees Celsius is the same whether in Alaska or whether in Sahara. So this is known as a factual statement. Factual statements are first of all objective in nature. That means it will not change from person to person. Whoever is experiencing 45 will say it's 45. Plus, it is a verifiable fact because the thermometer will show that it is in fact 45 degrees Celsius today. Okay, so this is the difference between facts and opinions. Now I will show you the passage. The passage has 8 sentences. You should be able to mark all the sentences either as facts or opinions or neither. Now this is what you need to do. You need to make a table in your notebook. This is a 4 by 9 table, so there will be 4 columns and there will be 9 rows. So please make it. And the first column is for the number of sentences. As I already said, you will read 8 sentences, and each sentence you will tick mark whether it's a fact, whether it's an opinion, or whether it is neither. And on the basis of that, at the end of the passage, I will show you the answer key. So I'm giving you about a minute to copy this table onto your notebook, and then I will show you the passage. Is that sufficient time? Should I move over to the passage?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
great. So you will again get 5 minutes for the passage to complete this passage. Here is the passage, and please note that I've marked each statement or sentence, or not statements, each sentence with a colored number, and there are a total of 8 numbers. So against each sentence that you read, please tick the appropriate column. Your time starts now. You have 5 minutes for this activity. You have another minute left. 4 minutes are over. Just 1 more minute to complete. Okay, that is the end of 5 minutes. If you need extra time, then unmute yourself and ask for extra time, or else I'll assume that you people have been able to answer all the 8 sentences, and I'll just go ahead and show you the answer.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, yes, tell me.
Ma'am, before showing the answer, it is better to ask the answer from audience side, so that later you can show the answers, so that we will verify with our answers.
Sure, you can start with the first sentence. What do you think it is?
Opinion.
Opinion, ma'am.
Because opinion has to be in the statement form, it must stop with a full stop. So this is a question.
Neither, ma'am.
It is neither, because you're wondering.
Neither.
You are not sure about it, and it's not your
It's
opinion.
neither.
It's neither. So the first one, the right answer is neither, mostly because the question mark gives you an indication that it is not a statement. Both a statement and a fact, it ends with a full stop. Okay. The second one, I simply love chocolates.
It's
Opinion.
It is your personal opinion. Okay, I simply love chocolates, but it's a fact. If you ask me, do you like chocolates, and I will definitely say yes. So will you categorize it as an opinion or a fact? To me, it's the truth. And if you ask me also, I can confirm it as a fact. So I have classified this as a fact. Okay. It must be difficult to find someone who doesn't love chocolates. I think it must be difficult. So this is what? Number 3?
Opinion, ma'am.
Opinion. Very good.
Opinion.
Number 4. Cacao beans were first cultivated by the ancient Mesoamericans in present-day
Facts,
Mexico.
man.
This is a
Fact.
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 You can go to history books and you can cross-check. Okay, next, the 5th one. Did you know that chocolate was first consumed as a bitter beverage rather than a sweet treat?
It's also a fact, ma'am.
Fact,
This
madam.
is
It's a
a
fact.
fact.
It's a
Even
fact.
though it is in the question form, but what I'm stating, this is a rhetorical question, and hence it is a fact.
Yes, fact.
Okay.
That is the answer.
Good. Yeah, the fact is in answer. Number
Opinion.
6. I think the ancient concoction of water, roasted cacao bean powder, honey, vanilla, chili peppers, and other spices must have tasted pretty horrible. This is an
Opinion.
opinion. Right.
Opinion.
Very good. Number 7. The Olmec, Mayans, and Aztec civilizations considered chocolate to be an aphrodisiac and mood enhancer.
It's a fact, ma'am.
This is fact. You can actually go and cross-check in all the scrolls that we have that this is a truth. They actually considered it that way. And the 8th statement, while the Mayans worshipped Echua as the cacao god, the Aztecs believed that cacao seeds were the gift of Quetzalcoatl. I don't know how to pronounce
Fact.
the god of
Facts.
Fact.
Yeah.
That's fact.
Fact.
So here are the answers for you. You can cross-check for yourself.
Yeah.
Just a minute, my puppy is really creating a lot of problems. Let me just fix it for you. Just give me a moment. Okay, so we are done with the 3rd activity. So now we are left with the last one, which is for the kinesthetic learner, people who like to learn by doing. So what is the activity brief? Material would be a set of instructions that I'll give out to you orally. In fact, I'll keep my video on so you can not only listen to me, but you can also see me. Next is the purpose is to encourage listening to instructions and performing whatever actions I'm asking you to do. It's a kinesthetic activity. And the activity, in the beginning, when I was preparing, I thought of asking the audience to make an origami helicopter. But I realized that since we are talking of Sapta Yoga, why not do some exercises, mostly because as teachers and learners, we are spending literally hours in front of the laptop or the mobile screen. So all of us are stressed. Our neck is painful, our neck is stiff, our shoulders and back are painful. So today I decided to show you 7 activities in keeping with the Sapta Yoga to relieve back stress and your neck problem. Okay, but I would like to come to the end of this session and I'm not going to be coming back to my screen again. So let me just go ahead and complete my slides. If you have any queries, this is my mobile number. This is my email number. And also recently, about 7 or 8 months back, I started with my first YouTube channel. Now, this YouTube channel, it looks like this. I have named it as Tall Talks from a Short Lady. And at the encouragement of my students, I took the bold step of starting. I started with 4 subscribers, and today I have about 1,032 subscribers. And all the people who have subscribed willingly. So if you like my sessions and if you would like to look at some of the videos that I upload every week, I would be most happy if you subscribe. And with that, I will say bye and thank you. Now, once I come out of the screen and I stop sharing, I'll show you the 7 yogas.
Get your email ID.
Okay, I'll just show it once.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Dear.
I will stop sharing and
Hello?
right now,
Hello.
We
yes.
would like
Hello.
to have your phone number, please.
Ma'am, your the slide with the phone number and email ID. Can you please show it again?
Yeah,
A few seconds.
1 minute. Have you noted down? Can I move ahead? Okay, great. So what I'll do right now is that, as I promised, I want to take you through the 7 yogas that we're going to do sitting in the here and now, and how you will see a difference in the way you're feeling about your neck and your back after maybe 2 or 3 minutes. So first of all, please put yourself on mute. You just need to notice what I'm doing. All of you, please sit comfortably. I'm sitting on my bed in a lotus position. I have my legs folded. But if you're sitting at the table and chair, please rest both of your feet comfortably on the ground and sit with your back straight. Uh, Siddhanth, sir, can you put everybody on mute, please?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, so we will do 10 counts of each yoga exercise. Can somebody's microphone is still on? Can you please put yourself on mute? Thank you. Thank you. So until the end of the session, please keep yourself on mute, and if you can start your video screen, I'll be very happy because I can see that you're also doing the exercises with me. So if you are a little more participative and forthcoming, just switch on your video, not your microphone. So 7 exercises of 10 counts each. I will demonstrate first, and then you will do along with me, along with the counts. After each activity, you will put your hands on your knee and rest for 15 seconds before we move to the second activity, because your muscles need some kind of rest between 2 activities. Okay, so the first activity we are going to do is known as a 1 minute. I'll just move my, yeah. The first activity we're gonna do is called the arm clap, which is very simple. You open your arm and at the count of 1, you clap. 2, 3. This is just a demo. When we're doing this exercise, I'm going to start at the count of go. Okay? So 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep your palms on your knees. This is the break time. On your knees, sir. Keep it on your knees so that your muscles can relax. Keep your hands on your knees down. Okay, so the next activity that I'm going to talk about is known as the shoulder opener. It will open up the joints which are there in your shoulder. So now, don't do it along with me. This is just a demo that I'm doing. You will keep your fingers on the top of your shoulder. For the first 5 count, you will move in this direction. For the second 5 count, you will move in the opposite direction. Okay, so keep your fingers on your shoulder for 5 counts in this direction, for 5 counts in the opposite direction. So I'm starting. 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll change directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep your hands on your knees. Rest for 15 to 30 seconds while I explain the next one. The next one is my favorite. Okay, it turns your waist like a torque. It helps you to turn your body from your waist up like a screw, once to the left and once to the right, and this is known as the giver. Okay, so you will stretch your arms like this, and we'll start with the right arm and go like this. Like you're giving to someone. Alternatively, you can also do it this way. Keep this one on the shoulder. Give to people. Then you turn here, give to people. And you turn your body as much as you can. Give, give. Give, give. Okay, so if you have understood, I will start. 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, this was difficult, but you will notice that your back pretty much rotated on itself to the left and to the right. Okay, so next we are going to do the windmill. This is fun. You stretch your arms like this and you just cross it. 5 counts in one direction, 5 counts in the other direction. Okay, so I have given the demo. Now I will start with the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Change directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep your arms on your knees. Okay, so we are done with how many? We are done with 4. The next one is very simple. It's called row back. So you hold your arms like this and you pull it back as far as you can go. Extend fully, fully. No bend at the elbows. Fully extend like you're riding a motorbike. And then you pull it back till you can, as far as you can at the back. Okay, so I'm starting at the count of go. 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, great. So we are going to move to the 6th one now. The 6th one is known as an elbow tap. The last 2 exercises are a little more difficult than the initial ones because I'm increasing the level of difficulty, okay, now that your muscles are warmed up. So you'll hold your arm like this, not facing the screen, but outward, yeah, okay. And what you will do is you'll open up your arm like this, and then you will tap and touch your elbows. So this is known as an elbow tap. This is known as an elbow tap. This is how it goes. Elbow tap. Yes? So I'm going to start now. 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the last one, 10. Okay, rest yourself. You will notice that your muscles have started shivering. If you're holding it in position, even my hands are going a little shivery, which means your muscles are feeling the impact of the exercise you're doing. And the last one, this is the most difficult, but again, this is the most fun one. You'll keep your hands like this, and you will try to touch this elbow to the left knee, right elbow to the left knee. So when I bend down, you might not be able to see me, but you understand from my instructions. Yes, I can see ma'am doing it, Archana ma'am. So you go 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is just a demo. Yeah. You will see it's putting a lot of pressure on your stomach, which has started bulging because we are sitting most of the time. And it is also going to stretch out your spinal cord. So sit comfortably. This is the last one. 3, 2, 1, go. Try touching the elbow to the knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the last one, 10. Oh. Okay. That's all from my side. I hope the session was of some use to some of you. Now I'm open for questions, and at the end of the question around session, I want to post the feedback link to get your suggestions for further webinars. So right now I'm open for any questions. If you have, please let me know.
Could you please name the last exercise? What is the name for that?
Oh, it's the knee tap. The first one is the elbow tap. You're tapping both the elbows. This is the knee, elbow to knee tap. And it doesn't matter what you call them. You can call them any creative name as long as you're able to perform them. That is more important. I think, between assignments, when your students are doing some written activity and you're not talking, switch off your video and do maybe one of these exercises. And you will see at the end of the day, it burns a lot of calories, first of all, and it also will keep you more healthy in terms of your neck and spine. It works for me, and I'm sure it will work for you also. Okay. Any questions? Okay.
I would like to, excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, congratulations. First of all, you have created a channel and posted more than thousands of videos.
Not so many,
It
only
is,
few I
yeah,
have.
okay. It is a wonderful job. And as far as this session is concerned, it is very creative and also very unique. And you made us learn and also do some exercise. Okay.
Thank you.
Very, very unique. And how is it possible to apply the same method strategy in the classroom where we come across more than 100 students in a particular class? Is it possible? Because so especially in cities, we face this type of problem. Okay, if the strength is 50, 30 like that, definitely we can do all these things. But so it is very, very interesting. This type of sessions are motivating and also inspiring to learn. Whereas in the case of the classes which I mentioned, it is quite difficult to follow this one.
Well, actually, I have done these kind of activities with more than 400 participants. Okay,
Oh,
so the amount of time you're going to invest is going to be the same no matter how many participants you have. So the reading time you're giving for the passages is going to be 5 minutes, whether there are 20 students at the end of the screen on the other side or there are 200 students. Plus, you're not spending time checking their answers. They can check their answers on their own, so it saves time for you also. Okay, so all of these activities are deliverable to one and to 1,000 participants all at the same time. The effort from your end, the time from your end will be the same. And any which ways, you don't need to monitor whether they're cheating or not, because these kind of activities are not available online. So the possibility of the students going searching up the answers also are not there. So all of these activities can be done irrespective of the number of students you have in your classroom. And as I promised, all of these activities do not extend more than 5 to 7 minutes. 5 minutes to do the activity and 2 minutes to show the answers and to explain in case the students have any kind of doubts. Okay, so I would encourage you to actually try them in your classroom, and you can always get back to me and tell me whether it worked or whether you had problems. If you have a good hold over your students will be very disciplined and they will follow your instructions to the T. That is the main thing.
Okay. Thank you.
the participants, if any participants are there, you can ask. Yeah, here,
Yeah.
Srinivas sir, Cherupu Shetty
Yes.
Srinivas sir would like to ask something.
Madam,
Yes,
good
please go ahead.
afternoon. I think it's 12 past, I think 10 past 12 or 5 past 12. I can only say, I think there are no questions from my side. I can only say it's an epitome of a lively online session.
Thank you so much.
And sometimes even I am invited as a resource person to some colleges because I've been doing that for a long time. So this kind of sessions will definitely help me to enhance my performance,
Thank you.
to adapt techniques of presenting information that we have. I'm really thankful to you and of course to the organizers and Sreyas Institute of Technology. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Sir.
I am posting the link to the feedback form. I'll be very happy. Can you please turn on the chat for me, Siddhanth sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And I would also like you to post this link on the WhatsApp group so that the people who have attended or could not attend can answer. Yes, ma'am. Tell me, Archana, ma'am.
Achana ma'am, please carry on.
Ma'am, you have to put yourself on unmute.
Archana ma'am, please unmute your audio. Archana ma'am, I request please unmute your audio. Yes.
Achana ma'am, unmute your audio.
Okay, I think she's
No,
not
she has
able
some
to.
problem.
So, okay, ma'am, any queries from her will be forwarding
Yeah.
sometime later.
Somebody else, Kavita ma'am raised her hand, and there's one more person. You have anything to say?
Yeah,
Please go
Kavita
ahead.
Verma.
Yeah,
Kavita Verma.
good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes,
I'm
ma'am. We've been
Kavita.
trying to tell you. Acha, sorry, this is Kavita ma'am. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
this is Kavita. Yes. So, I've been following Chumky ma'am's classes. I mean, these sessions for so many sessions, and today also I didn't want to miss. And
Thank you.
there are no questions because her sessions are so clear, full of clarity that it doesn't leave any questions in our minds. Okay, and I also have subscribed to her videos, and it's really a pleasure, being a participant in your sessions, ma'am. Thank you so much, and we have a lot to learn from you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. It
Yeah,
makes me
and
feel very happy to listen such things. Thank you.
yes, ma'am, you deserve it. Fully deserve it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, there was one more person who had raised her hand. Can we have you?
Archana madam, can you unmute your audio? No, it's not getting on. Siddhanth sir?
Sir, there's nothing from my side, sir. We
Yes.
will try to forward her queries to speaker in a while.
Okay, is it possible to allow me to post a link on the chat?
Yes,
It's done,
post-
ma'am. Already you can.
Okay,
post it.
no, it's still saying it's turned off. Chat is turned off. Okay, now I can. So this is the link to a short feedback form. I'll be very happy if you can give me your honest feedback. Sometimes on the face of it, it's difficult to be honest and talk critically. But in the feedback form, I would be very happy if you can point out some of the negatives. So that gives me a chance to improve upon them. And maybe the next webinar can be free of those mistakes. So be very honest with me. I would really appreciate your honesty. That is all from my side. If there are no more questions, then maybe we can end this session today.
Ma'am, thank you so much, Dr. Chumky Biswas, who is a renowned personality, especially the resource person all over the nation. And especially if it takes, actually, she is able to, right, to take 2 more hours, the research skills and any other. And she's like an encyclopedia of Britannica, we can say. Yeah, she can speak anything, right, spontaneously. Right, any queries are there, please you can post here and ask also if there is a chance now. Right, even her hectic schedules, she's been busy for an entire 24 hours, we can say, because 12 hours she prepares and other 12 hours she'll be engaging in other all the right activities, taking the conferences, taking the classes and all. Despite her hectic schedule, she has given time for us, and I requested many times to give the right time for the session. Thank you so much, madam. Right, anyhow, and it's over to Siddhanth for vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. So finally, good afternoon, one and all. It's an honor to propose vote of thanks from my side for today's session on the quick silver nature of online teaching of 1 week national level faculty development virtual program organized by Sreyas Institute of Engineering and Technology, Hyderabad, on the topic mentioned research skills and the Sapta Yoga of learning. Firstly, I would like to thank our eminent speaker, Dr. Chumky Biswas, ma'am, for teaching us the important strategies of online tools and teaching methods and software editing tools. Should definitely help us a lot in coming days. It was an actively oriented learning session, ma'am. So today we all have learned that some of the points I have noted. First thing, the online environment can also be used to create active learning opportunities for students that help them engage with challenging concepts or that provide self-assessment of self-reflection opportunities. Second, I also learned how to develop activities in the online classes and then provide feedback after the activity is completed, which helps to close the loop of learning environment for students. A profound thanks to our respected principal, Dr. Sri Sai Satyanarayana Reddy Garu, for giving us the opportunity to organize this wonderful 1 week virtual faculty development program to enhance our research skills. I also thank our beloved HOD sir, Muhammad Nasiruddin, for his encouragement and constant guidance. I thank our program coordinators, Dr. Bitla Srinivasul Garu and Mrs. P. Banu Garu, for their support in conducting a successful program, especially today's session. And the most important, I thank all my colleagues of Sreyas family and all the participants and guest speakers who have attended and actively participated in today's program in spite of a holiday. And I'm sure that you all will be going to practice what you have learned today from our renowned speaker, Dr. Chumky Biswas, in your online classes. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Siddhanth sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And today's session's feedback link will be forwarded very soon, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll forward that. Yeah.
Thank you all.
Dear organizers, from audience side, we would like to thank you also. Okay.
Okay.
Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Siddhanth sir. Thank you, Srinivas sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
I am
Everyone.
Srinivas, Chief Executive.
Yes.
Thank you.
You.
See you all tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll send the feedback anyhow. All right, no problem. Thank you. Ma'am, would you like to speak? Still you are there. Priyadarshini ma'am. Audio is not unmuted. No. Sir, Siddhanth sir, can you help her? Okay, sir. Shall we leave? Leave the meeting, sir. No problem. Okay. Siddhanth sir.